Hi everybody. Today I want to talk about how to make important decisions on your own life, especially when you're young and you still have time and the opportunity to try everything. So the real problem nowadays is like we've got so much information, but we don't know how to process it. What's more, we are bound by like social media, including LinkedIn, where we see everybody more like going forward in their own life, and we have like the basic FOMO, fear of missing out, feelings that come to us and that destroy us and that may cause us to choose a wrong path. What's more, when you look at, for instance, university, you're surrounded by so many people, so you're like in a kind of stressed environment and you're influenced by everybody's choices. So let's say you're in Harvard, you want to go to the corporate America because everybody in Harvard goes to corporate America. But is it really what you wanted to do? So the real problem, like I said, is like you really need to find yourself and to connect to your own self to understand how to make the own important decision. At the end of the podcast, I'm going to show you a way of how Jeff Bezos, the CEO of Amazon, deals with how he make choices in his own life. So when you look at first, like all your choices are were like made by the surrounding environment. So when you're in uni, everybody wants to go to the best corporate America. When you're in the best companies, everybody wants to climb the ladder. But you never have time to think about yourself and to find yourself what you really want. Especially like I said, with all the social media that is added, with all the information we are bombed with magazines, newspaper, screens, in streets, ads. We never really have time to know what we want. So, a good way to do is to try to isolate yourself on your own for, I would say, maybe 6 months. The best would be for you to go in another country on your own with no friends and try to cut a bit like all the connection you have with your past so that you can reconnect with yourself and with what you want. I give you an example. I knew a guy who went to Cambridge and then he went to the best jobs in like banking and all this. And then he found himself at 45 years old that he's been doing like 25 years of what he never really wanted to do, but because he followed the path that everybody followed in Cambridge. Like in Cambridge, they were like talking about big salaries, so everybody wanted big salaries in banking in London. So then he went in London. Then in the company, everybody wanted more, so he wanted more. And then he woke up at 45, and it was like, it's never what I wanted to do. It's just that I followed everybody. And the advice he gave me is like, please take a year break in order to avoid 20 years of doing something you don't like. So just think about it. Do you prefer to waste, like everybody says, a year doing nothing or being on your own and thinking about what you want in life, and then maybe spend the next 20 years doing something you like? Or do you prefer to follow the path that everybody follows and never take a break to connect to your own self, to your inner self, to your kids' thoughts, your kids' dream, and then maybe find the path you want? And you have so many trajectories that are possible in life. Life is short, so think about yourself. Don't think like of FOMO. You're not missing anything. Like, do what you want to do. Don't be stressed about life. Do not compare yourself to each other. And also, a big problem nowadays is like people do not want the path. They focus too much on the outcome. Let's say they go to corporate America or banking. They go because they say, I want to earn this amount of money, but they never take into account like the path they will go in, all the days, the time, the energy they will spend in the bank. So please do not focus on the outcome, but focus on the trajectory, the path you want to take. Like when you were in high school, middle school, you were not thinking about money, you were really thinking about what you want to do, your passion, your life, and do not focus on the outcome. It's the same like people who join like some startup and say like, okay, I want to stay 5 years here in order to be like a millionaire. But you have to focus about the trajectory, the path, the 5 years you will spend here, because everybody stays here because of the outcomes they think about, which is the money of the millionaires at the end of the 5 years. But it's very bad, very very bad way of thinking. And like I said, life is short, so do not waste your time doing things you don't like just for outcome, because you're just waiting for the outcome, because at the end you're selling your energy and your time against money, if it's true. And like I said, the earlier you realize this, the better, because The worst case is like you waking up at 80 at 40, 50 years old, and you just look at yourself and you're like, since I'm a kid, I just followed everybody, what society told me, go to the best uni, then find the best job in best banks, then climb the corporate ladder until you're like 40 years old and you're like old and you cannot even know how to walk, and you're like very old and you're like, what did I did all this? So think about yourself. And finally, I wanted to talk about how Jeff Bezos thinks. So Jeff Bezos has like a very good way of thinking. His own way of thinking is like when he wants to make a choice, he's thinking like, when I will be 80 years old, would I regret doing this or not doing this? So I'll give you the example. Jeff Bezos, when he graduated, went to Wall Street working in banking. And then he wanted to start his own company, which is Amazon. And he was like, okay, let's project myself at 80 years old. Will I regret leaving Wall Street and the very big salaries? The answer was for him, no. Then the other question was like, would I regret if I don't take the opportunity of creating like a e-business at this period where the internet was growing? And the answer was yes. So he made the choice to leave his company and create his own. So do like what you want. So let's say, for instance, nowadays the best places is Dubai, for instance. Say to yourself, would I regret it if I leave my hometown? Maybe you will say no when I'll be 80 years old. But then you will say, would I regret not joining the best land, the best city in the world when I was 20? And you will say yes, because I missed so many opportunities. And when you apply this mentality to all of your choices, at the end, I think it's a way better way of thinking than just precipitation and being like in a hurry. It just make you like more wise and killing the regret. So I would say you should think about regret minimization rather than just going like ahead without thinking about things. So please apply all those choices to your friends, to the place you want to live, to the uni you want to go to the work you want to work at, to the time you want to spend with what people you want to spend, because at the end life is short. You need to make your choices, and you need not to disappoint yourself, because at the end it's you versus you. When you go to banking to so that people can say, oh, he's working in Goldman Sachs, but you spend like horrible days, it's you who suffers. You don't care about what people think about you. So please make good choices and try to be a bit mature and wise, and think about like when you'll be 80 like Jeff Bezos, what would you think of your choices? Would you regret not leaving your town? Would you regret not doing this, not doing that? Would you regret having taken the safe path, which is, I would say, 9 to 5 in your hometown? Would you regret not traveling when you were young and you had energy and time? So think about it. Thanks for listening, and do not hesitate to contact me.